Introduction. Emotional detachment. How to stay calm, unreactive, and impossible to manipulate. Emotional detachment is not a fortress. It isn't ice in your veins or a shield you hide behind. It is the art of standing firm in your own center while the world spins, storms, and stirs around you. Too many people think being detached means you stop feeling or caring. That's not strength. That's escape. True emotional detachment means you care, but you refuse to be controlled. You feel, but you are not at the mercy of what or who triggers you. The difference between healthy detachment and numbness is simple but life-changing. Numbness is cold avoidance. You shut the world out. Detachment is wise courage. You allow everything but attach your peace to nothing. The first makes you smaller. The second makes you limitless. Emotionally reactive people suffer most. They live as hostages to external moods, opinions, and drama. Every harsh word, every disapproving glance or raised voice presses a button. They swing wildly between peace and chaos, pride and shame, hope and fear. And this is exactly why manipulators love them. Reactivity is leverage. When someone can predict your emotional triggers, they can control your choices, self-worth, and even your sense of reality. Calm, grounded people are a paradox, impossible to manipulate, yet deeply humane. Their power isn't in being untouched, it's in consciously choosing their responses. When you master emotional detachment, you stop giving free rent to everyone's expectations, moods, and opinions. You experience a strange and beautiful freedom. Clarity in the heat of conflict, self-respect that is no longer for sale, decisions made from wisdom, not panic. This audiobook is your blueprint for that transformation. You will walk a defined path. You'll learn how triggers are wired into your psyche, how manipulation really works, how to observe without reacting, how to build unstoppable calm, how to let go of attachment to outcomes and approval, and how to stay present and compassionate without getting dragged into storms that aren't yours. You'll hear vivid stories, real-world scenarios, exact scripts, and you'll be given battle-tested exercises for daily strength. Every chapter is designed to be practical, transformative, and deeply human. By the end, you won't just understand emotional detachment. You'll live it. You'll walk through life calm, clear, unreactive, and impossible to manipulate. Not by being cold, but by being unshakably strong. Chapter 1. Why You React. The Psychology of Emotional Triggers. Micro story. It's 8:34 a.m., and Angela catches a sideways look from her boss as she enters the office. Just a flicker, but her chest tightens. The meeting that follows is a gauntlet. Someone interrupts. Someone else nitpicks her ideas. By noon, her jaw aches from clenching and she can barely concentrate. By late afternoon, a friend's short text, "Okay," nothing else, feels like a warning. Angela replays every moment, every word. Did she say something wrong? Did she miss a deadline? At home, her teenage son forgets to greet her. Her spouse asks, "Rough day?" But she snaps, "I'm fine." She's not fine. She's 1,000 wires shorting out at once. By bedtime, it feels like the world is attacking from every direction, and she's already lost. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Your mind is mapped by every experience, every wound, every moment you felt exposed, abandoned, or shamed. Triggers are the invisible strings left behind. You rarely see them. It's the nervous system that knows first. Hear a certain tone and your body contracts. See a certain look and your heart jumps. Old anxieties get stirred like dust. Reactive patterns start young. Maybe as a child you learned that anger brought punishment, people-pleasing got you safety, or silence avoided conflict. The brain memorizes these lessons automatically. They become scripts you play on repeat. A defensive comment here, a people-pleasing yes there, overthinking at every turn. All automatic, all unconscious, until you bring the pattern into the light. When you're triggered, your limbic system, the emotional brain, surges before your logical mind even wakes up. That's why you realize you're upset only after you've already said what you didn't mean, or agreed to what you never wanted. The body keeps the score, racing pulse, clenched muscles, churning gut. Manipulators, sometimes knowingly, sometimes by instinct, notice what makes you flinch or scramble. They poke, they pressure, they guilt trip, and your reactions hand them control. Every time you break your own boundary to avoid discomfort, the pattern deepens. But here's the truth. Triggers are not destiny. They are old survival responses, not facts about who you are. With awareness and practice, every automatic reaction can be met with conscious choice. This is where your freedom begins. 3 real-life scenarios. Relationship. Trigger. You never listen to me? Raised voice. Emotional reaction. Shame, defensiveness, urge to apologize or argue. Manipulator's intention. Control the conversation, bypass mutual respect. Detached response. Pausing, then calmly. Let's both take a breath before we talk about this. Family trigger. Parent says, "Why can't you be more like your sister?" Emotional reaction. Guilt, insecurity, old comparison wounds. Manipulator's intention. Motivate through shame. Maintain hierarchy. Detached response. I am doing my best and I prefer not to be compared to others. Work, career. Trigger. Boss publicly questions your competence. Emotional reaction. Embarrassment, anger, urge to defend or withdraw. Manipulator's intention. Display power. Shift blame. Detached response. If there's an issue, I'm willing to discuss it in private and look for solutions. Friendships. Trigger. Friend cancels plans last minute, seems uninterested. Emotional reaction. Rejection, overthinking, self-doubt. Manipulator's intention. Test your commitment, create neediness. Detached response. No problem, let me know next time you're available. High-pressure situation. Trigger. Aggressive salesperson says, "Do you want to miss this once-in-a-lifetime deal?" Emotional reaction. Urgency, anxiety, fear of missing out. Manipulator's intention. Rush your decision, bypass your judgment. Detached response. I don't rush important decisions. I'll think it over. 4. Scripts. What to say. Let me think about that before I respond. I understand your point of view. Noted. I prefer to discuss this when I'm calm. Thank you for your feedback. That's something for me to consider. I need a moment before answering. I'm not comfortable making a decision under pressure. Your feelings are valid, but your emotions are not my responsibility. I choose not to react right now. We can revisit this later. Gray Rock. Okay. I see. Understood. 5. Practical exercises. Pause and notice. The next time you feel triggered, pause for 3 slow breaths. Notice where you feel it in your body. Quietly name it. Tightness in chest, heat in face, without judgment. Journaling prompt. Each evening, write down the 3 hardest moments of your day. What was the trigger? What was your automatic reaction? What underlying fear or memory did it activate? Awareness. Question. In a stressful moment, silently ask, is this familiar? What does this remind me of? Reframing exercise. When criticized, mentally repeat, this is information, not a judgment of my worth. Visualization. Imagine you are watching your own reaction from across the room as a calm observer. What do you notice that you didn't see before? Chapter 2. The Art of Not Taking Things Personally. 1. Micro story. David sits at a dinner table surrounded by laughter and quick jabbing conversations. Someone makes an offhand comment about his recent job switch. Guess you couldn't handle the pressure after all, huh? A familiar burning creeps into David's stomach. The joke was aimed at him and he can feel his pulse rising. Later, his partner comments, "You're so sensitive. Why do you always take things so hard?" He spends hours replaying the words, searching for hidden meanings, wondering if he's fundamentally flawed. The next day at work, even ordinary feedback sets him off. If they're criticizing me, maybe I'm not good enough. David has built a prison out of others' words. Every remark is a hammer strike. Every silence an accusation. He worries endlessly, walking on eggshells to avoid offense. Taking things personally runs his life and drains him dry. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Taking things personally steals your freedom. It binds your self-worth to the moods, words, and opinions of others. Why does it happen? The answer is ancient. Tribal survival once depended on belonging, approval, and reputation. If you were outcast, your life was at risk. Today, the stakes are rarely life or death, but your nervous system hasn't updated its software. When someone criticizes, dismisses, or jokes at your expense, your mind flashes back to moments of vulnerability. Childhood scoldings, peer rejection, harsh teachers, parental disappointment. The reaction is a reflex. I've done something wrong. I'm exposed. Everyone's watching me. People who take things personally often have deep roots in perfectionism, chronic people-pleasing, or unresolved shame. They see every comment as a reflection of their value, not just an opinion in passing. This pattern is fed by over-identification, the belief that your worth is on display up for public vote. But the truth is, nothing others say can define you without your permission. Manipulators use this tendency as a lever. They drop subtle insults, sly comparisons, emotional pressure, waiting for you to bite. When you react with hurt or defense, you give them the emotional energy they crave. Drama thrives on reaction. Silence shifts the power. Not taking things personally creates a layer of healthy separation. You recognize what's about you, what isn't, and what never has to be. 3. Real-life scenarios, relationships, trigger. You're always overreacting. Emotional reaction, anger, self-doubt, need to defend. Manipulators' intention, shift blame, deny responsibility. Detached, healthy response, my feelings are real, but I don't need to justify them. Family, trigger. Parent criticizes your lifestyle choices. Emotional reaction, shame, guilt, urge to explain or hide. Manipulator's intention, enforce conformity, control decision-making. Detached, healthy response, I respect your opinion, my choices are my own. Work, career, trigger. Colleague delivers harsh feedback in public. Emotional reaction, embarrassment, resentment, temptation to retaliate. Manipulator's intention, undermine credibility, boost their status. Detached, healthy response. Thanks for sharing your perspective. I'll review your feedback privately. Friendships. Trigger. Friend makes a sarcastic comment about your habits. Emotional reaction. Hurt. Question self-worth. Social withdrawal. Manipulator's intention. Test boundaries, provoke reaction. Detached, healthy response. I prefer positive support in my friendships. High-pressure situation. Trigger. Group gossip or exclusion. Emotional reaction. Anxiety, feeling judged, fear of rejection. Manipulator's intention. Keep you insecure, seeking approval. Detached, healthy response. Group opinions don't define my value. 4. Scripts, what to say. That's your perspective. I'm comfortable with my choices. Thanks for letting me know. I value my own judgment. I choose not to engage in criticism. Your words belong to you. I don't take that personally. We can agree to see this differently. Your emotions are yours to manage. I'm here to listen, not to take things personally. I respect myself enough to let this go. Gray rock. Noted. Okay. Understood. 5. Practical exercises. Awareness. Pause. When hurt by words, repeat silently. This is about them, not me. Breathe deeply and observe your reaction without judgment. Journaling prompt. Tonight, write down 3 comments that triggered you this week. For each, ask, was this about me or about them? Visualization. Imagine an invisible shield between you and the world. Words and opinions hit the shield and slide away, leaving you untouched inside. Reframing practice. When criticized, mentally say, opinions change, my value does not. Chapter 3. How manipulators use your emotions against you. 1. Micro story. Olivia notices how her father's tone changes when he wants something. Suddenly, the warmth vanishes and a cold disappointment creeps in. I thought you cared about family, he sighs when she declines a last-minute favor. Her boss is no different. He uses praise sparingly, only to withdraw it as a warning. Frankly, I hope you realize how much I do for you. A friend, expert in guilt trips, uploads group photos to social media, always excluding Olivia. Later, the same friend asks, are you mad? You're so sensitive. Days become an emotional chess match. Every request uses guilt or urgency. Every disagreement turns into questioning her loyalty. Olivia is exhausted, caught in loops where boundaries are blurred and her feelings weaponized to get her compliance. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Manipulation uses emotions as tools, hooks, levers, traps. Most manipulation isn't obvious. It slips under defenses, shame, guilt, obligation, threats, withholding affection. The manipulator wants control. Instead of logic or negotiation, they use emotional cues to direct your choices. They spot your triggers and adjust their strategies. If you need approval, they withhold it until you earn it. If you fear abandonment, they threaten to leave when displeased. If you want harmony, they create drama to watch you scramble for peace. Emotional hooks attach your outcome, self-worth, and belonging to someone else's mood. This happens at work, with family and romance, even in close friendships. Many manipulative tactics are subtle. Guilt tripping. If you cared, you wouldn't say no. Gaslighting. I never said that. Are you sure you remember right? Conditional affection. I don't know if I can trust you after this. Playing victim. Everyone is against me. Can't you just support me? Reactive people are prime targets because their boundaries bend under pressure. Manipulators read your responses, and every emotional reaction gives them the data to refine their approach. Freedom comes when you recognize manipulation in real time. Reclaim your right to pause and respond with grounded detachment. 3. Real-life scenarios. Relationships trigger. If you truly loved me, you'd do this for me. Emotional reaction. Fear of losing affection, urge to comply even when uncomfortable. Manipulators' intentions secure their needs through induced guilt. Detached, healthy response. Love does not mean ignoring my boundaries. Family. Trigger. After all I've done for you, this is how you repay me? Emotional reaction. Shame. Sense of obligation. Loss of self-trust. Manipulator's intention. Obligation. Enforce compliance. Reinforce hierarchy. Detached, healthy response. I appreciate what you've done, but my choices are my own. Work, career. Trigger. Boss threatens opportunity loss. If you're not willing to put in the hours, I'll have to consider someone else. Emotional reaction. Anxiety, insecurity, overwork to avoid rejection. Manipulator's intention. Extract more effort with the threat of loss. Detached, healthy response. I'm clear about my limits. If this is not a fit, let's discuss options professionally. Friendships. Trigger. Friend plays victim. Nobody else listens to me like you do. Emotional reaction. Pressure to become emotional caretaker. Difficulty saying no. Manipulator's intention. Secure constant attention support. Detached healthy response. I care about you, but I cannot be your only support. High pressure situation. Trigger. Salesperson says you'd be crazy to let this deal go. Everyone else is saying yes. Emotional reaction. Urgency. Fear of missing out. Pressured compliance. Manipulator's intention. Rush judgment. Override discernment. Detached healthy response. I make decisions on my own time frame. 4. Scripts. What to say. Let's pause. Guilt is not a healthy motivator. My choices are my responsibility. I choose not to respond to pressure. Your expectations are your own. Let's keep emotions out of this discussion. I don't accept conditional affection. You are responsible for your own feelings. I will not be manipulated through guilt or shame. I see your point, but I won't be rushed or cornered. If you need to discuss this, please do so respectfully. Gray Rock. Okay. I'm not engaging further. 5 practical exercises. Emotional pattern journaling. After a conversation leaves you anxious or guilty, write down exactly what was said, the tactic used, and your initial response. Look for repeating tactics over time. Boundaries practice. Next time you sense manipulation, pause and firmly state one clear boundary, e.g., I need space to decide. Awareness question. Ask yourself, if I did not react, what could change in this interaction? Pause technique. When pressured, use a simple script. I'll need time to consider, I'll respond tomorrow. Chapter 4. Observation over reaction. Micro story. Samantha walks into her mother's kitchen and immediately senses tension. Her mother's sigh is sharp, deliberate, and followed by silence. Old urges bubble up, defend herself, apologize, prove she's good. But today, Samantha does something different. She doesn't respond. She quietly watches, noting her heartbeat and the slight shaking in her hands. Her mother repeats the sigh, waiting for the usual reaction. Instead, Samantha asks, "Would you like some tea?" Her tone is calm. The moment passes without escalation. Later that day, a colleague at work challenges her idea in a meeting. Instead of snapping back, Samantha listens, takes a breath, and says, "I hear your concerns." She realizes she doesn't have to engage in every battle. With each pause, she grows more certain. Observation is power. She is no longer ruled by reflex. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Emotional reactivity hijacks your mind. The moment something triggers you, criticism, rejection, unpredictable anger, your nervous system pumps stress hormones, narrowing your vision and stiffening your body. Before you can think, you react. Defend, attack, withdraw, over-explain. But the real strength lies in the gap between stimulus and response. Observation is creating space in that gap. It means you watch your urges instead of obeying them. When you pause, even for a breath, your logical mind has time to catch up. Observation is not passivity. You are not tolerating mistreatment or avoiding responsibility. You are training your mind to choose. This practice rewires old patterns. You learn to spot your triggers in real time, see how your body responds, and decide, do I want to get involved in this drama, or can I let it pass? Patterns emerge. You realize some people weaponize your predictability. When you break the cycle even once, it unsettles those who benefit from your reactions. Observation also reveals your own stories. Shame scripts, people-pleasing reflexes, old fears of abandonment. Over time, you grow more skilled at catching the narrative before it runs wild. Being an observer positions you as an author, not a character in your life story. 3. Real-life scenarios. Relationships. Trigger. Why don't you ever listen to me? Raised voice. Emotional reaction. Urge to argue or shut down. Manipulators, environments, intention, provoke, pull you into defending. Detached observation. Breathe, notice your reaction, reply. I want to understand you, let's talk calmly. Family. Trigger. Parent uses disappointment. I expected better from you. Emotional reaction. Guilt, need to prove worth. Intention. Enforce old roles, extract apology. Observation. Mentally note. This is their story, not mine. Respond calmly. I hear your feelings. Work. Career. Trigger. Colleague criticizes your plan in front of others. Emotional reaction, embarrassment, urge to defend or attack. Intention, test your composure, assert dominance. Observation, brief pause, respond. Interesting feedback, I'll review the points. Friendships, trigger. Friend ignores your message, then acts cold. Emotional reaction, anxiety, urge to chase or withdraw. Intention, control through unpredictability. Observation. Note your emotions. Respond simply. I'm here when you want to connect. High pressure situation. Trigger. Group urgency. We need your answer now. Emotional reaction. Stress. Fear of judgment. Intention. Rush your decision. Observation. Pause. Say, I'll need a moment to think. 4. Scripts. What to say. Let me take a moment before I respond. I'm observing my own reaction right now. I hear you. Can we slow this down? Give me a second to process. Interesting. I'll consider it. I choose not to engage emotionally right now. That's an intense moment. Let's revisit in a bit. I'm not ready to discuss this. I need some space. I prefer to respond when I'm calm. Gray rock. Okay. Noted. I see. 5. Practical exercises. Breath pause. Before reacting, inhale slowly for 4 counts, hold for 2, exhale for 6. Repeat until urge to react lessens. Sensation scan. When triggered, quickly scan your body. What do you feel and where? Give each sensation a silent label, e.g., tight jaw, fluttering chest. Observation. Log after any emotionally charged interaction, jot down. What happened? How did I react? What did I notice in myself? Visualization. Picture yourself as a neutral observer in a movie. What choices would the wise, calm version of you make next? Chapter 5. Emotional Neutrality. The state that cannot be manipulated. 1. Micro-story. Marcus faces his boss in a tense quarterly review. There's barely disguised criticism, open doubt. Are you sure you're fit for this project, Marcus? Before detachment, he'd have felt shame, each word cutting deeper, sending him spiraling into self-doubt and overthinking. But today, Marcus sits unwavering. He listens, recognizes tension rising in his body, lets the words pass through. When the pressure mounts, he responds calmly. I'm confident in my approach and I'll show you results. Later at home, his partner asks if he's angry about the harsh feedback. Marcus shrugs. It doesn't stick. I know who I am. He's found an inner space, neutral, grounded, protected. Manipulators grow frustrated. The usual hooks, guilt, fear, urgency, slide off him. Marcus has earned his peace. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Emotional neutrality is a shield, not of denial but of strength. It's the ability to feel everything but be owned by nothing. Where most people are swept off center by criticism, praise, threat, guilt, or shame, neutral people remain clear. Their compass is internal. Why is neutrality so powerful? Because manipulation requires an emotional handle. Control is possible only when you react, when you're pulled into guilt, fear of rejection, or people-pleasing. Neutrality is not indifference. You still care, but your value stays intact regardless of circumstances. This state is built on 3 pillars. Self-acceptance. meaning you no longer need external permission for peace. Stable boundaries, so others' moods or tactics don't penetrate your core. Response over reaction, a moment-to-moment choice to meet life calmly. When you're emotionally neutral, guilt attempts become invitations you decline. Fear-based threats are met with measured consideration, not panic. Rejection loses its bite. You know rejection is about incompatibility, not your worth. Pressure cannot rush you. Your decisions are made internally. Developing neutrality feels strange at first. People may accuse you of being cold or uncaring. Ignore it. The reality is you're finally able to care without losing yourself in the chaos. Once neutrality is your default, you become unpredictable to manipulators. They drop their hooks and look for easier prey. 3. Real-life scenarios, relationships. Trigger. If you cared, you'd do this for me. Emotional reaction, guilt, anxiety, urge to prove love. Manipulator's intention, pressure compliance through emotion. Neutral response, my care doesn't require me to ignore my boundaries. Family, trigger, you disappointed me like always. Emotional reaction, shame, old wounds, need for approval. Manipulator's intention, control via shame. Neutral response, you're entitled to your feelings. I'm at peace with my actions. Work, career, trigger, criticism delivered harshly, designed to provoke. Emotional reaction, insecurity, urge to argue or withdraw. Manipulator's intention, undermine confidence. Neutral response, I'll consider your input, my work speaks for itself. Friendships, trigger, friend withdraws affection, becomes distant without explanation. Emotional reaction, self-blame, chasing, fear of abandonment. Manipulator's intention, extract apology or effort. Neutral response, let's reconnect when you're ready. I'm comfortable either way. High-pressure situation, trigger, everyone has agreed, are you the only one holding out? Emotional reaction, pressure, urgency, worry about being difficult. Manipulator's intention, force compliance with group norms. Neutral response, I make decisions when I'm ready, not from pressure. 4. Scripts, what to say. I'm at peace with my decision. Your feelings don't determine my actions. Thank you for your input. I remain calm. I hear you, but I'm not taking this personally. Guilt and shame don't lead my choices. Let's move forward with clarity, not emotion. My standards are internal. I respect myself enough to hold this boundary. I won't respond under emotional pressure. I care, but I do not take on your emotions. Gray rock. Understood. Okay. Noted. 5. Practical exercises. Neutrality affirmation. Each morning repeat. No mood, word, or pressure determines my value. Boundary visualization. Imagine your core surrounded by a calm blue light. Visualize words or emotions touching it and sliding off. Response practice. When criticized, say nothing for 10 seconds. Then choose a simple, non-reactive reply. Journaling. Write about one situation where neutrality protected your peace. How did it feel? What did you notice in others' responses? Chapter 6. Techniques to stay calm under pressure. 1. Micro-story. Nina's phone vibrates with a curt message from her manager. Need your decision in 10 minutes, urgent. Her stomach knots. Instantly, her mind races through worst-case scenarios. Flashbacks to previous panicked choices make her pulse race. At home, her child spills milk and Nina feels herself teeter between shouting and shutting down. Later, her mother calls, launching guilt-ridden complaints over missed visits. Another pressure spike. But this time, Nina does not react. She closes her eyes, inhales deeply, counts to 6 and exhales. She texts, I'll have a decision for you in 1 hour. When her mother criticizes, Nina replies, I'm present now. I'd like to speak calmly. Under pressure, she practices newfound tools, reframing, deep breathing, deliberate pauses. The tension recedes. Choices are made on her terms. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Pressure distorts perception. Urgency, emotional storms, and criticism create a false sense that immediate action is required. Stress hormones surge, clouding judgment and hijacking the nervous system, fight, flight, or freeze. In these moments, your responses default to old conditioning, pleasing authority, avoiding conflict, or rushing decisions to silence discomfort. But staying calm is a practiced art. Calm is a choice, not a mood. At its core, calm is a refusal to be rushed or coerced. When you pause, the fog clears, your logical mind regains control. Pressure from others can come in many forms. Tight deadlines, emotional outbursts, guilt trips, urgency, shaming, or passive aggression. Manipulators rely on your urgency. They know that flustered minds are easy to steer. Calm is built by building mental and physiological anchors. You slow down. You breathe. You reframe stress as challenge, not threat. You become unhurried despite external chaos. Scripts and tools reinforce this mindset and train your body to respond differently. Step-by-step tactics create new habits. Mental reframing turns pressure into information and opportunity. Breathing techniques interrupt the stress response. Pause and observe breaks reactive cycles. Calm scripts set boundaries for behavior. Calm is not the absence of emotion, but the presence of leadership, of your mind, your mood, your pace. 3. Real-life scenarios, relationships, trigger. Partner demands instant answer, right now or forget it. Emotional reaction, panic, fear of rejection, urge to comply. Pressure intention, force decision through urgency. Calm response. I make important decisions with time. I'll respond when I'm ready. Family. Trigger. Parent escalates argument, raises voice, lists sacrifices. Emotional reaction, stress, guilt, instinct to surrender or argue. Pressure intention, win by intensity, extract apology. Calm response. Let's take a break so we can speak calmly. Work. Career. Trigger. Boss sets impossible deadline, hints at consequences. Emotional reaction, anxiety, tunnel vision, urge to sacrifice boundaries. Pressure intention, maximize output by exploiting stress. Calm response. That timeline isn't realistic. I'll explain what is possible. Friendships trigger. Friend demands favor immediately, becomes agitated when delayed. Emotional reaction. Stress, pressure to say yes, worry about losing connection. Pressure intention. Test boundaries, control the dynamic. Calm response. I need time to consider. I'll let you know tomorrow. High pressure situation. Trigger. Group demands instant commitment, uses peer pressure. Emotional reaction. Urgency, fear of missing out, urge to conform. Pressure intention, bypass discernment. Calm response. I don't make group decisions under pressure. 4. Scripts, what to say. I need more time to decide. Let's slow down. This deserves careful thought. I'll respond when I'm ready. I'm choosing calm over urgency. Can we revisit this after I consider? Immediate action isn't always the best option. Pressure doesn't change my standards. I prefer to think things through. Let's take a breath before continuing. My pace is my responsibility. Gray rock. Okay. Noted. 5. Practical exercises. 4-6 breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 2, exhale for 6, repeat until pressure subsides. Reframing. Prompt. When stressed, ask, what's the worst that could happen if I take my time? Pause anchor. Whenever urgency rises, pause for 10 seconds before any reply. Calm journaling. Each night, write about one pressured moment. What did you feel? How could you choose calm next time? Chapter 7. Letting go of emotional hooks. 1. Micro story. Elena has always needed approval. Her happiness rises and falls on others' praise or criticism. At work, one ignored email sends her spiraling into doubt. In friendships, unmet expectations become accusations in her mind. Her partner forgets their anniversary, and Elena feels betrayed, replaying each slight in painful detail. She attaches to outcomes, rehearses every imagined rejection, tries to control the unpredictable. Each day is exhausting. Attachment to apologies, craving validation, needing every conversation to end right. But then, after a sleepless night, she tries something new. She lists every expectation she's holding and asks, "What if I released this?" She imagines being free, being at peace even when someone disappoints her. For the first time, she feels relief. The hooks lose their grip. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Emotional hooks are attachments, desires for things to go a certain way, for others to meet your needs perfectly, for every interaction to confirm your worth. The more tightly you grip, the more pain you create. Attachments form from early conditioning. Praise, attention, love were given or withheld as rewards and punishments. You learn to chase approval and avoid rejection. Expectations attach you to specific outcomes. The ego attaches to being right, to winning arguments, to proving value. When events don't match your script, pain erupts. Disappointment, resentment, self-blame. The cycle repeats. Every unmet expectation adds to the burden. The hooks keep you chained to old wounds, needing apologies, fearing abandonment, chasing perfection. Letting go is not giving up. It's refusing to let your peace depend on events or other people's choices. This doesn't mean you avoid feeling, only that you are free to experience and then release each wave. Healthy detachment allows you to hold desires lightly, respond to disappointment wisely, and appreciate outcomes without addiction to them. Practicing release is a life skill. Acknowledge the hook. I want their apology. I want their approval. Ask if your peace actually depends on it. Practice self-validation instead, your standards, your values. Detached people grieve losses, accept imperfection, and allow others to be themselves. They are free because they are not entangled. 3 real-life scenarios. Relationships trigger. Waiting anxiously for partner's validation or apology. Emotional reaction. Impatience, anxiety, resentment, blaming. Manipulators' environment's intention. Maintain control by withholding attention. Let go response. My peace isn't dependent on their words. I give myself closure. Family. Trigger. Parent never praises your achievements. Emotional reaction. Shame, chasing approval, chronic disappointment. Intention. Reinforce dependency on external validation. Let go response. I celebrate my own progress regardless of outside recognition. Work, career. Trigger. Lack of acknowledgement or credit for hard work. Emotional reaction. Frustration, bitterness, craving approval. Intention. Promote competition. Withhold recognition as incentive. Let go response. My effort and integrity matter more than recognition. Friendships. Trigger. Friend doesn't meet your emotional expectations. Emotional reaction. Hurt, feeling unseen, urge to demand attention. Intention. Set boundaries. Avoid emotional labor. Let go response. I respect our differences and release expectations of perfection. High pressure situation. Trigger. Urge to control outcomes in group projects. Emotional reaction. Anxiety, controlling, impatience. Intention. Secure certainty via control. Let go response. I do my best and let events unfold as they will. 4. Scripts, what to say. I release the need for an apology. My peace is not dependent on this outcome. I acknowledge my own value. I am letting go of what I can't control. It's okay if things don't go as planned. I can respond calmly even if others disappoint me. I accept imperfection in myself and others. Thank you for the lesson. I'm moving forward. Validation is something I give myself. I don't need closure from anyone else. Gray rock. Okay? Noted. 5. Practical exercises. Attachment inventory. Write down 3 situations where you're attached to a specific outcome or apology. For each ask, is my peace really dependent on this? Release visualization. Close your eyes and picture each hook as a thread. Imagine gently removing or loosening it until you feel lighter. Self-validation journal. Each day, record one way you validated yourself independent of others' feedback. Let go practice. When disappointed, breathe deeply and repeat, I allow this feeling, I let it pass. Chapter 8. Detachment in relationships without becoming cold. 1. Micro-story. Jared used to lose himself in every relationship. When a partner was upset, he took it personally and tried to fix everything. Boundaries blurred. Her bad mood became his. With friends, Jared felt responsible for their happiness. He sacrificed his own needs, feared rejection, and bent over backward to avoid confrontation. The more he gave, the more drained and resentful he became. One day, after his partner stormed out during an argument, Jared realized he couldn't go on this way. He began to learn the difference between detachment and coldness. He practiced listening without absorbing, supporting without rescuing, loving without self-sacrifice. When his friend vented negativity, Jared replied, I care about you, but I can't solve this for you. His relationships changed. By setting boundaries with kindness, he became warmer and stronger. Connection didn't mean losing himself. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. Detachment in relationships is a delicate art. Too many fear that detachment means emotional avoidance, withdrawal, or becoming indifferent. But true detachment is full-hearted presence with strong boundaries. When you're overly attached, you absorb moods, take on responsibilities that aren't yours, and lose clarity in conflict. You operate from fear of abandonment, need for approval, or guilt. Emotional avoidance, by contrast, is shutting down, keeping people at arm's length and refusing to feel. That's not detachment, that's running away. Healthy detachment is rooted in compassion. You love, but you do not rescue. You care, but you do not absorb. You support, but you do not sacrifice your integrity. You listen, but you do not lose yourself in others' emotions. Detachment means you set limits on what you give and what you absorb. You recognize your own boundaries and respect others' autonomy. Emotional independence creates stronger relationships. The healthiest connections are between whole individuals, not people looking to fix or complete each other. Detachment empowers you to speak calmly, hold your ground, stay available, without being swept up in every storm. You don't shut out love or warmth. Instead, you become an anchor of calm in chaos. 3. Real-life scenarios, relationships. Trigger. Partner blames you for their mood. You ruined my day. Emotional reaction. Guilt, urge to fix, self-blame. Intention. Offload emotional responsibility. Detached, healthy response. I'm here to listen, but your emotions are yours to manage. Family. Trigger. Parent tries to guilt you into helping or agreeing. Emotional reaction. Pressure, anxiety, fear of disappointing. Intention. Secure compliance through emotional leverage. Detached, healthy response. I care for you, but I need to honor my boundaries too. Work, career. Trigger. Colleague repeatedly dumps their problems onto you. Emotional reaction. Overwhelmed, drained, loss of focus. Intention. Shift workload or emotional labor onto you. Detached, healthy response. I want to support you, but I'm unable to take this on. Friendships. Trigger. Friend expects you to be available 24/7, gets upset when you set limits. emotional reaction. Fear of losing the friendship, guilt, stress. Intention, enforce dependency, test boundaries. Detached, healthy response. I value our friendship, but I have other priorities right now. High-pressure situation. Trigger, romantic partner threatens to leave unless you meet extreme demands. Emotional reaction, panic, urge to comply, fear of abandonment. Intention, extract sacrifice, control. Detached, healthy response. I want us both to have healthy boundaries. If you choose to leave, I will respect that. 4. Scripts what to say. I care, but I cannot take responsibility for your emotions. I support you, but I have to honor my needs too. Let's both respect each other's boundaries. I prefer to listen without fixing. My love doesn't require me to lose myself. I can be present without absorbing. Healthy relationships need space and respect. I won't sacrifice my well-being for approval. We can solve this together, but I cannot do it alone. Your choices are yours, mine are mine. Gray Rock. Noted. Thank you for sharing. 5. Practical exercises. Boundary statement. Practice. Write and rehearse one clear boundary for each important relationship. I am willing to help when. I am not available when. Compassionate distance visualization. Imagine your emotional energy as light. Envision keeping your light within your own space, shining towards others but never leaking or dimming. Self-respect journal. Each day, note a moment you honored your boundaries. How did it affect your relationships? Pause before responding. In any emotional conversation, pause for 5 breaths before offering support or a solution. Notice the difference in your clarity. Chapter 9. Building a Stoic Mind. Calm, Clarity, Strength 1. Micro story. Fatima sits at a conference table as debate swirls around her. Colleagues argue, some trying to impress, others venting frustration. In the past, the noise triggered her, the urge to compete, agree, or defend herself. Now, she observes quietly. She recognizes her own tension, a flutter in her stomach, tightness in her jaw, but doesn't let it guide her actions. When asked her opinion, she speaks calmly, concisely, without raising her voice or rushing her words. She doesn't seek approval or react to others' tones. Fatima notices who tries to dominate and who stays silent. She chooses her response deliberately, like a chess master planning 3 moves ahead. After the meeting, she feels a steady satisfaction. She didn't win or lose. She led herself. Her inner authority, untouched by the chaos, is her real power. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. A Stoic mind is not passive, cold, or withdrawn. It is a mind rooted in clarity, self-respect, and purpose. The Stoic understands that most events, moods, and words are not under personal control. True strength is directing energy only where it matters. Modern life is filled with noise, demands, judgments, endless information, and emotional bait. The Stoic mind filters all this through 3 questions. Is this in my control? Is this worth my energy? What response reflects my core values? Stoicism is not emotionless, it is emotionally wise. Instead of instant reaction, the Stoic observes, accepts reality, and responds from a place of choice. They recognize that external chaos is a constant. Inner authority is built by accepting reality without complaint, holding clear principles regardless of outside pressure, being decisive especially when others are indecisive or emotional, owning their emotions without projecting them. Stoic clarity also means saying no to drama, manipulation, and urgency. The Stoic mind is trained, not born. It is built through relentless self-observation, daily reflection, and practice. With time, emotional storms lose power. Calm becomes automatic, strength becomes silent, and clarity becomes your shield. In a world that thrives on volatility, the Stoic is an anchor, still rooted, unshakable. 3 real-life scenarios: relationships. Trigger: partner interrupts or tries to provoke during arguments. Emotional reaction: frustration, urge to argue back. Intention: draw you into emotional chaos. Stoic response: I'll continue when we're both ready to listen. Family trigger: family pressures you to solve their conflicts. Emotional reaction: guilt, responsibility, anxiety. Intention: offload emotional labor. Stoic response: that's for you to work through. I support you, but it's not mine to fix. Work, career. Trigger: boss demands overtime on short notice, implying your job depends on it. Emotional reaction: stress, fear, panic-driven compliance. Intention: enforce control through scarcity or fear. Stoic response: I'm committed to quality work. I'll outline what can be done within my limits. Friendships. Trigger: friends gossip or judge those not present. Emotional reaction: urge to join in, fear of exclusion. Intention: strengthen group identity through exclusion. Stoic response: I prefer upfront conversations, not gossip. High-pressure situation. Trigger: aggressive negotiation or deadline escalating in tone. Emotional reaction: panic, defensiveness, urge to give in. Intention: win by intimidating. Stoic response: let's keep the conversation professional and focus on solutions. 4. Scripts. What to say. That's outside my control. I accept what is. I choose what I respond to. I am guided by my values, not by emotions. Let's stay focused on what matters. My energy is precious. I direct it with purpose. Drama is not my choice. I prefer solutions, not blame. I can be clear without being harsh. Silence is my answer when words are wasted. Calm is my default no matter the storm. Gray rock. Understood? I see. Okay. 5. Practical exercises. Circle of control. Draw 2 circles. One for what you can control, one for what you can't. Each day, review events and direct energy only towards your circle of control. Value statement. Write 3 core values guiding your reactions. I value respect, integrity, clarity. Read before stressful situations. Response delay. Practice. Hear a trigger, pause 10 seconds, then respond in a way that aligns with your values. Stoic evening. Reflection. Each night, reflect on a moment where you stayed calm. What helped you remain anchored? How can you repeat it? Chapter 10. Becoming emotionally untouchable. 1. Micro story. Michael used to live at the mercy of others, apologizing constantly, replaying every conversation, soaking up guilt, anxiety, and criticism. Conflict made him shrink. Praise made him soar. Over months of practice, he learned to pause before reacting, noticed where manipulation pulled him in, and released his need for approval. Step by step, he transformed. Arguments lost their power, guilt trips bounced off. Chaos rolled by without sinking him. One afternoon, someone hurled a personal insult at Michael in a meeting, hoping to rattle him. Michael took a breath, looked them in the eye, replied with a calm, steady, "Thank you for sharing your view," and continued with his agenda. The room was silent. The drama fizzled. That evening he realized his peace, his path, and his value were finally his own. He was emotionally untouchable, not because he felt nothing, but because he owned everything within. 2. Deep mechanism analysis. The final transformation is becoming emotionally untouchable, not numb, not robotic, but unwavering at your core. Untouchable does not mean insensitive. You remain fully human, but external chaos can't sway your mood or dictate your choices. You become your own authority. This state is built on everything practiced throughout this book. Clarity about your triggers and the awareness to catch them as they arise. the wisdom to see manipulation for what it is. Someone else's game, not your burden. The discipline to observe first, then consciously choose your words and actions. The presence to remain neutral without taking things personally or being hooked by praise or blame. The power to prioritize calm, no matter how others behave. Emotionally untouchable people don't need to win every battle or prove every point. Their identity and worth are secure, unrattled by applause or attack. They become leaders by example, offering warmth and clarity without sacrificing boundaries. Others may test you, but they quickly learn. Your peace is real, your boundaries unbreakable, your character consistent. Untouchability is not a wall, but a wellspring, strength flowing from within. 3 real-life scenarios, relationships. Trigger. Partner tries to provoke jealousy or insecurity. Emotional reaction. Old patterns might have included suspicion or arguments. Untouchable response. I trust myself and I don't compete for attention. Family. Trigger. Relative brings up past failures in front of others. Emotional reaction. Shame, urge to defend. Untouchable response. That's behind me. I've moved on with self-respect. Work, career. Trigger. Colleague gossips or attempts public embarrassment. Emotional reaction. Embarrassment, anger, temptation to confront or retreat. Untouchable response. I'll focus on solutions and let my results speak for me. Friendships. Trigger. Friend withholds communication, pressures you for attention. Emotional reaction. Anxiety, desire to chase, fear of losing the friendship. Untouchable response. I value space and authenticity in friendships. High-pressure situation. Trigger. Intense negotiation. Someone tries to corner you with false urgency or intimidation. Emotional reaction. Urgency, panic, urge to comply. Untouchable response. Decisions are best made calmly. I don't do urgency. 4. Scripts. What to say. That's your view. I'm comfortable with my own. Thank you for expressing yourself. I decide when and how I respond. My peace is not up for negotiation. This won't move me. Pressure doesn't dictate my choices. I know who I am. I respect myself enough to stand calm. Your actions don't control my feelings. Gray Rock. Okay. Noted. Understood. 5. Practical exercises. Daily affirmation. Each morning repeat. Nothing and no one outside me can control my mind or take my peace. Scenario visualization. Imagine a high-pressure, emotionally charged scenario. Practice seeing yourself remaining completely unmoved, calm, and respectful, regardless of what happens. Closure ritual. At the end of the day, write one sentence about how you maintained your boundaries and calm, even if challenged. Legacy reflection. Ask, what kind of presence do I want to bring into every room, every relationship, every challenge? Commit to embodying this each day. Conclusion. You have traveled the full arc, from raw reactivity and emotional chaos to clarity, respect, and an untouchable sense of self. You have learned the power of awareness. You've seen your triggers, understood where they come from, and watched how manipulators use emotions as leverage. You've built your ability to observe without reacting, to transform the drama of others into information, not personal injury. You have practiced emotional neutrality, discovering that you are never forced to absorb guilt, shame, or pressure. You now respond from strength, not from habit. Calm under pressure has become your shield. You know the process of letting go, releasing attachment, old hooks, and the need for outside validation. Your relationships are anchored in healthy boundaries, compassionate support, and deep respect for yourself and others. Your mind is now guided by Stoic principles: clarity, calm, core values, and decisive action. You can walk through storms and not be soaked by them. Most importantly, you have become emotionally untouchable, not by freezing your heart, but by making it unmanipulable. You lead with warmth, but never at the expense of your own self-respect. This new identity, calm, grounded, clear, is not a fleeting state. It is a legacy. You bring a presence into every room that sets the temperature. Others sense your calm and feel safer, steadier, more honest in your company. The drama disappears. Difficult people retreat because their tactics no longer work. Let these practices guide your days. Let your boundaries remain strong, your voice steady, your energy clean. Emotional detachment is not an end. It is your starting point for real freedom, connection, and authority. Carry it with pride. Share it with generosity. Stand tall and live untouchable. Book complete. If this audiobook has brought you clarity, strength, or peace, consider supporting the channel so more people can find this message. Please like this audio and subscribe. Your support helps this work reach those who feel overwhelmed, anxious, or unprotected, and gives them a path back to calm, confidence, and emotional freedom. Thank you for listening. Stay grounded. Stay wise. You are the anchor in every storm.